I'm ready to talk. Okay. Welcome to Arise and Build podcast. Here with your girl, Yakinea Marie. I'm so excited because of who I have in the studio today. One of my real estate mentors. Today, we're going to be talking about from dirt to dollars, how to build wealth through real estate. And he's been in the game since what, 27, 26?
2008. Oh 08. Bought my
Since
first
he
property
was
in
a
2008.
baby,
Yeah.
since he was a baby. So I want to welcome everyone to Arise and Build, and welcome to the studio, Brandon Brooks. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm excellent. Thank you for coming in the
Thank you. Glad,
studio.
glad. Appreciate the invite.
Well, I know your story is so broad, but because I love what you do in the marketplace with real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you went from investing to flipping
Mm-hmm.
to acquiring, building cash flow
Mm-hmm.
to in the dirt, building it from the ground up.
All right.
All right.
And
So just first of all, introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you in the marketplace?
okay. So again, like you said, my name is Brandon Brooks. I am a real estate investor and licensed home builder here in the state of Alabama.
Okay.
Like she said, I've been in real estate since 2008. First started out buying single family rental homes, and I started out really not with the intent of even being in real estate full time. I was a financial advisor for 10 years. My goal was to, and when I was buying real estate in '08, was simply just to make ends meet because the market had crashed. And so as a financial advisor, nobody was investing their money into the market. So I was simply just trying to pay bills from month to month. And so got into real estate simply for that purpose alone, but kept buying and developed a passion for it. And so went from buying single family homes as rentals to started buying single family homes to flip.
Yes.
And flipping properties. And I thought I was going to become wealthy by just simply flipping properties until I got introduced to cash flow. And once I got introduced to the concept of cash flow.
Okay, hold on for a second. Because because I know our viewers is like, wait, hold on. First of all, because the cash flow is key.
That's the key. Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
But when you first started, did you have to borrow to
So when I first started, I didn't have a dime, literally. Okay. I don't use that
so
term.
You can actually acquire real estate without having money?
You can. It's possible. Okay. You gotta have a vision. You gotta have somebody. You gotta know people with money. You gotta have good credit. You gotta have a good reputation. A lot of things that come with it. So it's not as just simple as I don't have any money, I can go get real estate. So
okay, and I'm just asking questions that somebody may ask.
Absolutely.
So do you have to have good credit, or do you have to be connected to somebody who has good credit?
No, if you're looking to borrow, you need to have good credit.
Okay, you need to have good credit.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
wonderful.
Absolutely. Good credit, good. And again, I'm calling out these requirements or prerequisites because again, these are just not knowing at the time, but these are what the things they look for. Again, good credit, good reputation, good name, because if they're loaning you money to buy real estate or acquire real estate and you don't have any money to back it up, what's about you that's going to give these investors or these hard money lenders or whomever the confidence that I can give this person some money and it's going to come back to me. So a person of character, good, again, character, credit, you got to have a vision for that, for whatever you're trying to do, in the market. Because like, just give you my story. So when I decided to start acquiring real estate to flip, like I said, when I started buying it to buy and rent, they were there at the time. There were hard money companies that would literally give you money if your credit was good. They want a return on the investment once you purchase that property, refinanced it, where we do what they call cash out refi, and getting that money back. But that game kind of ran its course back then. And so when I came up with the vision to start flipping, I just put together a little 8-page PowerPoint. I mean, it was so simple to the point. Because when you're dealing with investors or people that got money, they don't want to have to read a lot of jargon. So I made it very, very simple. And this is what I'm trying to do. This is my goal. And so I went to people with that vision. So they one started to have a vision. I had a plan. It wasn't just, hey, I want to borrow your money and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know how I'm going to get the house. I had a solid plan. It was clear cut, described what happens if you give me this money, what I'm going to do with it, and the time frame I'm going to get you back, and what's your rate of return.
You was 27.
I was I was 24.
Oh wow.
I was 24.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
24, 25 when I came up with that little plan. Wow. And so I went to some people that I know that had money and just, hey, I know you're not investing in the market right now because the economy is down, but people with money still wanted their money to make money. So I basically pitched to them, I could get you 20% return on your money in 6 months. And
now, where did you get? Where did you? I know your dad is in real estate. Where did you get the wherewithal to know what to ask investors? First of all, I commend you because some people may have a vision, but they allow fear to paralyze them where they won't even ask. Right. So when you have the boldness to ask, you have to know what to ask because the size of the question determines the size of the answer. Right. So how did you know what to ask? Did you get that from your dad?
No. So I did not. My dad taught me some other facets in the real estate game, but because of my finance background. Again, I had just I was accounting major in college. Again, got my second degree in financial planning, just understanding rate of return, understanding how wealthy people think about their money. So all that plan simply came from my experience in financial advising. Just understanding, hey, if I pitch to somebody a 20% return on investment in a 6 months time frame, people with money understands that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then again, in an economy where you're not, where they've lost 50% of their assets, it was just easy pitch, you know.
You said some key. You said wealthy people understand, because I remember when I put a contract on that 13-unit apartment complex,
which is still for sale.
I know. I saw. I drove past there.
Yeah.
And see, they should have. Okay,
exactly.
That's a whole nother story.
Right.
But I remember I went to a young lady, and I went with a plan similar to yours and I was taking your advice. And I think at that time we offered 10%, but she couldn't see the vision of that. You understand that return, because if that money's set in the bank, you definitely not gonna get a 10% return in that short period of time.
Right.
So so for those individuals that maybe they don't have a financial background or they didn't work at a bank or whatever the case may be, they can still learn principles just by opening up a book or watching a podcast or listening to an audio book or something like that.
Right.
So it's not far-fetched because you can learn how the wealthy think.
Right. And then again, you got to be able to go to people. So you made a key point. So she may not understood it, and I agree. She may have, but understanding that the people that you're going to, they have to have a certain level of wealth, though, meaning a certain level of disposable.
Maybe I didn't explain it good enough.
Not even that. I won't say that's the case, but you may not know her situation.
Yeah.
And so when you come to somebody, people I was going to, they had disposable cash, meaning if I gave you $100,000, that's not my last 100. That's not even close to it. You see
I agree with you on that one. I definitely
when you have that level of disposable cash, you're okay with putting that into some type of investment vehicle
6 to 12 months
or wherever it is. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a huge factor.
Yeah,
you know. So if somebody who only has 200,000, they're going to be less reluctant, a lot hesitant to give you 50, 100 because that's a huge percent of what they have.
Yeah, that's good.
And so, but if somebody has 10 million. And you asking for 50,000. That's you know what I'm saying. So that plays a huge factor.
That's good.
Yeah. So you got to understand and consider who you're asking to.
Yeah. Let's talk cash flow.
Okay.
So you pivoted. You pivoted from flipping. And you say, you know what, I'm gonna buy in whole. Because some people, they may say, I don't want to buy a whole. That take too long. That's like my money dripping. What made you transition from flipping to get the big check to cash flow to get smaller checks, but they're compounded?
Yeah. So it's simple. Now, if you heard me speak at any Arise conference or at whatever any church that Yakinea has invited me to or anywhere, I've always credited my pivot to a game called Cash Flow by Robert Kiyosaki. So a very close friend of mine who me and her wife are very good friends. I'm the godfather of children. His wife purchased her.
Say that again.
His wife.
Yeah, his wife
purchased a game called Cash Flow for his 30th birthday.
Yes.
And so she bought the game for him, and we started. It was a group of, the game tells you to get a group of people, and you play that game for 1 month, 12 months straight.
Wow.
And so all of us did it. It was me, Gabe, it's probably about 5 guys, and we committed to doing it for 12 months straight, and we did it. And that tells you after you leave that game, you should have a different mentality, different mindset about real estate. And it truly does change your perspective, because it makes you understand that people in the real estate are not looking for big checks. Wealthy people, they're looking for cash flow. They're looking for a influx of cash every month that they can know that I'm getting every month, regardless of whether I go to work, whether I go out of town, whatever I do, I got this money coming in. And so when I was flipping houses, you know, you watch all these shows, flip this house in Las Vegas and California, you think that's the way. And that's a way to get you to a certain position. But I don't think that from my experience, that was not the way to get me to real wealth. Because if you make $60,000-$80,000 on a flip and you don't sell another flip for 5, 6, 7 months, that whatever that profit that you generated is depleting every month because nothing is replenishing it. So when we start playing that game cash flow, it taught us a simple principle. The way you get out the rat race, and the rat race is a simple term. If you have to go to work to pay your bills, no matter what your profession is, we're not doctor, lawyer, teacher, pilot, it doesn't matter. If you have to go to work every day to pay your bills, you're in the rat race. The objective is to create enough passive income to pay all your bills. And if you do that, you're quote unquote out the rat race. So when that principle hit me, I immediately played that game and I stopped flipping properties immediately. I thought after playing that game, I pivoted. I said, okay, I'm no longer going to look for houses to flip solely. Let me say that because you still, when you're in real estate, I tell people have a broad, don't be pigeonholed or cynical on your view on real estate, because you can find a property and it may be a flip opportunity. You flip it, get that seed, and then keep on your track of getting a cash flow. But so I'm not gonna say I stopped flipping, but my objective was to look for cash flow properties, and I would still flip in between me finding cash flow property as the opportunity presented itself. But my objective was to get enough money where I didn't have to pay my bills, go to work to pay my bills, and that's how I started my journey on cash flow. So I bought my first property in 2014. It was a 16 unit in Bessemer, Alabama. And once I got that property and I saw the money that it generated on a monthly basis, I took off from there. And so from 14 to 20, I accumulated 14, I think it was up to about 14 different apartment buildings, upwards of 160 doors. And I was truly out of the rat race. And I think it took me about from 2014 to 2018. In that 4-year term, I generated enough cash flow where I can quote unquote say I was at the rat race.
And you went from your flips, what you generated on a flip, you built in cash flow monthly.
Repeat that again.
Okay. Let's say for instance, if you
So I get basically what she's saying is just say if I made $40,000 on a flip, well, I was bringing in $40,000 a month, you know, from the apartments that I was renting.
Was just, there it is.
So did that. And so after doing apartments, now you're looking for, okay, how can I create even more cash flow in the same space, real estate, but not just always looking at residential. So that's how I pivoted from the residential, start looking at commercial buildings, because that game shows you they don't just focus on residential renting. It talks about businesses. It talks about even stock market, anything that generates passive income that you're not having to put your hands to do. That it focuses on that. And so I went from residential renting to
the salon suites.
Correct. So,
and you got two of those,
two locations of those.
That's one of the things I love about you, and I told you this a while ago, is I love that you don't close yourself in to one thing. Like, I'm only gonna do this, I'm only gonna do this, but you're open to opportunities. And then when the pandemic hit, you pivoted again, right? Still got the cash flow going out, still open to flipping if that opportunity come, still open to buying commercial and gutting it out and position it. And then you said, let me get my builder's license.
So I became a builder in 2021. Took the class and like she said, during COVID. And that happened because the market, because of the COVID, rates were down, extremely low. So it was a seller's market, and people were overpaying for property significantly. They was paying $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over asking price. And then, so when I got tired of competing with that understanding, because I was buying stuff for 20 cents on a dollar, 30 cents on a dollar. So it was hard for somebody like me to say, well, I can't overpay for something just because the rates are down. When I was buying stuff $30,000, $40,000 a dollar, 20%, 30% on the dollar, it just didn't make sense. So now I said, okay, instead of me competing and overpaying for stuff, I just build my own inventory. And so that's how I became a licensed builder. And now I'm pivoting from residential renting, still doing commercial, and now I want to get into development.
Okay. And that's where you acquired land, and then you're positioning yourself to build a whole community.
Correct. Absolutely.
But it started with one property.
Started one property. Yep.
The vision.
The vision started one property.
One property. Yeah. At the age of 24.
Right.
You're 42 now. That's what how many years is that?
18.
18 years?
Yeah.
18 years.
Yep.
19 years. 18 years.
Yeah.
18 years. And it didn't happen overnight.
Didn't happen overnight. So
it wasn't a get quick.
No. So now that's one thing about the game of cash flow that it does not account for is time.
Yeah.
So when you're playing that game and you're creating these deals on a board game, it gives you a false impression that it can happen quick, and it does not, though. You know, again, like I told you, my first property was acquired. My first multifamily cash flow producing property was acquired in 14. Even though I bought my first rental in 08, because I bought my first rental house in 08, but I didn't buy that with the intent of generating cash flow. I didn't understand what I was doing at that time. I was just literally buying 1 or 2 or 3 houses just to pay if I can generate $800 a month to pay bills until I become this financial advisor guru that I was striving for. That was solely the purpose of that property. Then I didn't understand cash flow in 2008. I didn't really get that vision to 14, like I said. And so, I'm sorry, 2010, and I bought the first one at 14. But where am I going with this? Yeah, so time. So so from 14 to 18, that's a 4-year period. Now at that time, you got to understand it's time and it's also opportunity that's available. So at that time, nobody was really buying multifamily properties in Birmingham. I can literally go through the city of Inslee where I bought in West End, where I bought a lot of the properties I own, and I can see vacant buildings on every block. Nobody was interested in them. And so I was knocking on doors, going through the course retrieval, finding owners, calling them, and they would ecstatic to sell them because nobody was ever asking them to buy. They were just sitting there. So so opportunity presented itself, and so you got to have time. And so that's one thing that game does not quite create first time. But even though there was an abundance of properties available to me, it still took me for at least 4 years to get to that place where I can leave a 6-figure job and say I don't need it anymore because I got cash flow. It still took 4 years.
Patience.
Patience,
because sometimes people give up. They'll quit a thing because it is not happening as fast. And the worst thing a person can do is compare their situation to somebody else's situation, or they just see the glory now, but they don't know the process or the story. And they don't even want to get a mentor because they may get have you ever had someone who you mentored and they wanted it to happen like now, and they stopped doing it because it didn't happen as fast as they thought it?
Yeah, that's every day. I mean, me and you have put together several classes, and you probably, they tell you if you have 10 people in the class, you may get one person to do it, and that's pretty much real because people don't get instant gratification. And they want it right now. Now understanding it's a process.
It's a process.
And so you got to go through it, and you got to be, if it's something that you want to do, you're gonna persevere. Because I had, even with me asking those people and pitching my vision to them, none of them said yes immediately. Some people sat on that PowerPoint for 6 months, and I had to call them back and say, hey, did you ever look at that? I ain't read it yet. Okay, well, take a look at it. It may be something interesting. So it even in my ask, it was not immediately. None of them he said yes immediately. I had to follow up a month, 2 months, 6 months down the road until they finally said, I'm tired of you calling me. Let me look at it. And when they looked at it, it's like, oh, okay. So that took time.
Well, you were sold on it. When I hear you say that, I hear that you were fully convinced that if they take a look at this, they gonna say yes.
Absolutely.
But I got this from direct sales when I used to be in network marketing years ago, that the fortune is in the follow-up.
Absolutely.
And many people drop the ball in the follow-up process because they don't follow up, and then somebody else come right behind them, ask us for the same, make the same offer, and they take it. But because you kept knocking on the door, it's as if you was like, I'm not going to stop following up until you tell me no. But if you don't tell me no, you leaving an open door for me to come and knock and follow up. So that's huge. So what would you, as we prepare to close, what would you say to the person that's watching this? Because I know another thing is we believe in debt freedom, right? However, may have to start off borrowing in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
in order to get you to where you want to go, and then go over
Right.
into the debt freedom space. So we won't say you have to, but we won't say you shouldn't.
Right.
It's just open door based
Absolutely.
off your vision.
Right.
But we feel like your goal should always be, well, I'm gonna speak for
Okay. Okay.
my own place. Your goal should be to be the lender, not the borrower,
Correct.
right? And I know this is a conversation you and I talked about, because I know your vision, what
Mm-hmm.
your vision is now. So let's speak to the end game,
Okay.
your overall end game as you build legacy for not just you but your girls.
Right.
Why debt freedom?
Um, man, that freedom is just, and this is coming from you and I both mentor.
Mhm.
This the liberty of not
Yes.
having to pay somebody on a monthly basis and how it frees
Attorney
you up.
Antonio Sterling.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Who's been on the podcast?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just speaking with him and just understanding the liberty of not getting up and having to pay somebody.
Yes.
It I don't think it's something that you can really understand until you experience
Until
it.
you experience
It the first time, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hearing him, because I never, growing up, you always you even in the books that we read,
Yeah.
it's always talk about OPM, other
Yeah,
people's
yeah,
money, and
yeah,
as long as
yeah.
you paying, as long as somebody's paying for it,
Yeah.
it's not. You hear the term good debt,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
these different things, and it's like you
said,
buy into that.
That ain't even. Yeah.
You buy into it, and again, there's
Yeah.
a purpose. There's,
Yeah,
and I'm,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
knocking
yeah.
anybody because I still borrow,
Yeah.
but with the sole purpose that
You
if I
can
do
pay it
borrow,
off.
it's not, I'm not holding this for 30
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I'm not trying to pay this off in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna try to come up with a plan to get it off as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Whether it's 2 years, 5, whatever it is, but the plan is needs to become debt free.
Yeah.
Just so that you can the bliss that you would live in,
Yeah.
not having to pay somebody is I think it's something I've heard him speak on, and
Yeah.
and you hear about other people, and
Mhm.
it's just a godly thing,
Yeah.
and so it's just something that we all should strive for. The Bible
one-
tells us, "Oh man, oh no man but the love." So that needs to be our goal.
And one of the
You know.
things he was sharing when he was on the podcast is that they own 22 commercial properties, totally debt free.
Right.
Everything they have is totally debt free.
Right.
But they started out borrowing.
They had to start borrowing.
So when you borrow, the goal is to have a mindset and a plan. You're not going to even you're not going to even attempt to have a plan if you don't have a mindset that my end goal is debt free.
Right.
I may have to borrow this 100,000 or 200,000 or whatever, $50,000, but my plan is to pay it off in record time.
That's right.
And if you don't have that mindset, you will be comfortable with holding it for 30 years, thinking that you're saving some money, not realizing you're paying 2-3 times the amount of the loan because you did not have a strategic plan.
Right.
So you got to have a plan.
Yeah.
So what's your closing remarks for those who desire to get in the game, or maybe they're in the game but it's not going as they initially envisioned?
My first thing would just be, you got to have a why. I too was in the network market for a short period of time, and one of the things I always remember somebody saying is, if your why is not enough to make you cry, you won't stay in it.
Yeah.
Right. And so you got to have a reason to why you're trying to do this. It can't be because it's a fad, because fad goes away. Think about all the various weight lossing fads that we can't see come and go, right? And so if your why is not big enough to keep you in it, then you'll give it up. So understand what your goal and your purpose is, who you're doing this for, why you wanting wealth. It can't just be because I hear everybody talking about real estate, because when you don't get in that time frame, you're going to let it go. It's going to be easy to let it go. So you got to have a huge reason on why you're trying to do it. So that's my biggest first thing I would say is have a big enough why that's going to keep you motivated, keep you going to when you overcome any obstacles, any obstructions, that you won't just give up. Any objections, you won't give up. Second thing is, this came to me as I was just preparing my mind to come here, is I'm not a man of faith, I'm a man of works. And it's because,
wait, hold on, you said I'm not a man of faith, I'm a man of works,
because
which shows your faith.
Absolutely.
Okay, I about to say, that's a twist on words.
Because again, we as Christians and as we get caught up on faith, but that's usually just something that we talk about. But the Bible clearly tells us faith without works. So you just can't say I'm a man or woman of faith and you don't put your hands to do anything. And I see that so many from a lot of people that I've came up in church with. they're still doing a lot of some of the things that we were doing with no action behind it, and wondering why they're still in the same positions.
Yeah.
And what the only thing that separated me from everybody else is I put my hand to do something.
I'll show you my faith by my works.
So
that's
everybody
should preach the whole message in there.
Everybody should just you can profess to be a faith, but you got to do something.
That's good.
You have to.
Ooh,
you got to do something. You
good.
can't just profess it. Woof. You can't just say I'm a millionaire and don't go out and try to do anything. You got to do something.
You got to do something.
And so that's what separated me from my peers at the age of 24. Even those group of guys that were in that played that game with me. We all started at the same time. I was the only one that achieved the goal that the game set out for us to do.
Wow.
And what the difference was, all of us are men of faith. We all grew up in church together. We all was under the same pastor, same word, same teaching. So it wasn't a faith issue. It was a works. And that was just that simple. So yeah.
There's a book called The Slight Edge.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, Jeff Olson?
Yes.
And in that book, it talks about every day, the day is either working for you or against you.
Right.
It's just a slight edge. It's working. It's based off what we do. It's the days of work is for us. Our words work for us. Our actions work for us, against us.
Right.
You got that slight edge.
Yeah. That slight edge. That's it. So again, it's just for people who just continue to profess. You can say I'm a woman, a man of faith, right? That's cool. That's just not enough.
Yeah, but just show it by your words.
Show it. And guess what? People, you don't have to tell somebody you're a man or woman of faith, because they're gonna look at you and say, "Oh, he gotta be." I'm looking at look at the fruits of his labor.
That's good.
You ain't gotta say nothing. The work says speak for itself.
Well, you have been a blessing today. I got a series, the fifth is you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. And so I have multiple podcast interviews today, and you're one of my July interviews. And so thank you for joining me. Thank you for being with us on Arise and Build. I want to know the one thing that you took away from this interview, because Brandon Brook, he dropped some jewels. Okay. I'm going to read your comments. I'm going to reply to your comments. And if you're not already subscribe, like, and share. And thank you for joining us on Arise and Build.